Good morning to all you Broncos fans out there. This is Legends of Mile High, and I am Thomas Hall. And today we have some interesting developments from yesterday. The Broncos are contemplating a new stadium, so we're going to jump into that. But before we do, just make sure that you like the show. And if you are interested in talking about history or some other players like Peyton Manning, for instance, who have been past greats in Broncos, jump into the live chat and we will talk about them. But yeah, it's Peyton Manning's birthday today. That's, Peyton Manning is definitely one of the legends of Mile High, really turned around the Broncos and got them to a couple Super Bowls. So happy birthday to Peyton Manning. So shout out to him this morning. And anybody else who wants to jump into the live chat, good morning. We've got a couple people already jumping in. So let's say hello to a couple of the listeners out there. We've got David Yunkin coming in this morning saying, "Morning Broncos family. It would be nice to have a new stadium if we ever wanted to host the Super Bowl." That's a great point, David. That's I think it's more to the weather, but maybe not. Maybe it's not the weather, unless they're thinking about doing a dome or something like that. That's a good point. I didn't really think of that. So thank you for coming in and saying that this morning. We got Jeremy Sean also coming in saying, "Morning, Thomas. The fact that the owners are asking fans their desires about a new stadium shows that they appear to care about the community. There are some owners in this area that couldn't care less." Yeah, yeah, it seems like they want to do right by the fans, I guess, by asking them, those questions and what they want. Jeremy Sean's also come back in to say happy birthday to the sheriff. Yeah, absolutely. It's Peyton Manning's birthday today, so a legend of Mile High and one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever live. So, yeah, good morning to him. Yeah, it's interesting. I have my thoughts about this whole new stadium thing. You know, it, it seems a bit premature to me. I don't know. It feels a bit premature. And I know that stadiums take a lot of planning and it's quite a ways down the road, but it has been quite some time since the Broncos have had a winning season, right? 2016 was the last time the Broncos ended the season above 500. So, it's a bit weird to be thinking about, oh, let's spend a bunch of money on a new stadium when the Broncos haven't won anything in quite a while. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2015. They haven't had a winning season since 2016. And now I know that like I said, it takes a while to plan this stuff out, but I would like to see the Broncos turn it around a little bit before we start hearing about new stadiums and things like that. It's odd to me, as all I'm saying. It's like it's kind of premature, but it's I'm glad that the NFL or the Broncos owners are inquiring, doing surveys. I took the survey, asking Broncos fans what they would like. And I don't know if that's, surveys are always kind of interesting to me, that you ask people and everyone's going to have a different opinion, but to me it's premature. But there are some cool things about about some developments. I mean, the Broncos have not ever had a dome, and maybe they're going to have a dome. They had the survey come out with what are your favorite stadiums. When I went through it, it's a really long survey, so make sure you allocate a little bit of time if you're going to do it. But man, it was they're asking what kind of roof that the fans would like. They're asking, what it should look like. And I have my thoughts about what it should look like, but I'm old school. So I probably are going to be in the minority. I know people that fans would probably enjoy having a comfortable stadium with a dome and things like that. But I have my thoughts. But before we jump into that, we got a couple other people coming in. We got Clayton Huron. He's always fun to have here, man. We love seeing you here, Clayton. So thank you for being here. And he comes up with he's saying great way to start off my 40th birthday with this morning show. Smash that like button and share. Well, Clayton, happy birthday, happy 40th to you. It's you share a birthday with Peyton Manning. That's pretty amazing. So yeah, I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoy it and have some fun. And yeah, happy birthday. So everybody wish Clayton a happy birthday today. So thank you for being here, Clayton, and spending your birthday with Legends of Mile High. And yeah, it's an interesting topic, talking about the talking about the stadium. So it's interesting. But yeah, Clayton, we really really appreciate you being here, and always appreciate the support. And thank you for getting up this morning. I hope you're having a nice cup of coffee. Facebook user, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, but if I did, I would say hello to you in person. But since I don't, I'm just going to say thank you, Facebook user, for coming in this morning, saying I'm the same way, Thomas. These boys need to go and win the division and win some games. To hell with the uniforms and to hell with the stadium. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I actually prefer. I mean, I would love to have a new uniform just because it is. These uniforms have been getting a little bit, kind of a little stale in my mind. So, but thank you for coming in. I really appreciate that comment. It's true though. Like let's turn this thing around a little bit before we really kind of start making these grand plans for something new. It just seems a little odd to do that. But again, it takes a long time for a stadium to actually be built. Who knows? They could win a Super Bowl and then have more losing seasons by the time they build that stadium. Who knows? So maybe I'm kind of thinking a little bit strange. But yeah, I'd like to see a turnaround. But I'll say this: the Broncos ownership has went ahead and filled roster holes with they spent their money to go out and do it. So they are planning to turn this thing around, and I think they will. So that's a great thing. But here's my thoughts on some of the Broncos stadium ideas. I loved Mile High Stadium. Everybody did. There was Mile High magic in that stadium. I witnessed some things at that stadium that on the field that should have happened, but it did. Like a wide open player for the Minnesota Vikings running for probably the winning score ends up tripping and falling on his own. And that's kind of weird things that happened at Mile High Stadium that I'm just like, we got to bring that magic back. So even if they make it more like a modern type of feel, like it would be nice to have some of that Mile High nostalgia kind of baked in somehow. The stadium maybe looks that way, but with a more updated look or something. But bring some of that Mile High magic back. Like bring some of that Mile High Stadium back would be amazing. It would be a cool project to work on if you were an architect. That's for sure. Gyla Maples coming in saying, good morning. Happy birthday, everyone. Yeah, happy birthday. And thank you for the super sticker. I really appreciate the support. That's very generous of you. And, all of us here at Mile High Huddle appreciate the support that you can give us to keep these shows rolling. And this is my first show. I'm on two others now. We have Orange and Blue View on Saturday nights. If you want to spend your Saturday night listening to me and Ron White talk, jump in there. And then also Mile High Insiders on Wednesday night with Luke Patterson. Those are always fun, different points of view. But this was my first show, and I love it. So the support that you can give me and this show it's amazing. So thank you very much. And Cristiano Rodens coming and saying, good morning, Thomas. Great catching you live. Yeah, it is. I've seen you before in the comments and stuff. So I appreciate you being here live, because that's where it's at. Being here live, you can actually throw some questions in. We can have a debate. We can talk back and forth. It's always fun. It's always fun to hear from other people in Broncos country talking about things that we love, which is Broncos and the Broncos goings on. So yeah, tell me your ideas about this new stadium. I mean, again, they put out a long survey, and they're asking everything like, what's your favorite thing or what's the most important thing to you at a stadium? Is it seating? Is it the concessions? Is it, I don't know. I'm a little worried about a new stadium and kind of how it may take away some of that game day experience that Broncos country are used to. I mean, you definitely want to have the tailgating still, because Broncos country has a great tailgate. I've been there several times, and I love it. It's a fun experience to go out there and mingle with the fans, and they're really welcoming even to other teams' fans, right? So I've been to like Sons of Mile High, great tailgate. I don't want that to take away from doing a new stadium, take away some of the tailgating. I don't want that. Now, a dome in my mind is interesting. Like early on, We're talking about having a dome and maybe having a Super Bowl. That would be amazing. That would be fun to actually have a Super Bowl in Denver and have Denver playing it. That would be the ultimate. But yeah, so far they've asked to have a Super Bowl in Denver and just it's never happened. But if they create a dome, that may change things. But again, it's like having a dome in Denver seems strange to me, after being a fan for so long and remembering Mile High Stadium and even, when it was in Vesco Field and all of that, no roof on it. In Denver, it doesn't snow that often in games, but, in January, you never know about the weather. So it could be a dome. And one of the things they're asking. Do you want a retractable roof? It's strange. I don't know. It just seems strange. It seems too early to me, but the Broncos ownership are going out and doing what it takes to return fans to the stadium, return Mile High Country to the way it used to be. So I find that very interesting. And if you think about all the moves they've made already, just in free agency and fixing the grass, that kind of stuff, it's that shows that they're willing to do what it takes. Amy Ailes coming in saying good morning. Well, good morning to you, Amy. Thank you for coming in from Facebook. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to you being here again and your thoughts on the new stadium and what the Broncos are planning to do. So really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was. So the funny thing is, I went. It's not really funny because it was a miserable experience. But talking about Super Bowls and went to the stadium in which is New Jersey, not New York, for Super Bowl 48. Miserable experience all around. And I don't know if it had anything to do with the dome or not, but it was cold for sure in February, January timeframe in New York's cold. So there was that, but the transportation was awful getting to and from. It was a miserable experience all around. Not even, and then of course the Broncos lost to the Seahawks, and their fans were miserable. So I hated every minute of it, pretty much. Unfortunately, the only time I got to go to a Super Bowl, and it was that experience. But so that having no roof in February in Denver might be a little bit tough to convince them to bring a Super Bowl there. But retractable roof, that might be really fun. Have some sun in there, but when it's really cold and snowy, just close the roof and and then you can have some comfort while you're watching the Broncos play. But the thing of it is, it may when you see these new stadiums come out, like the Raiders stadium, I was thinking about going to a game there when the Broncos visited, but their ticket prices are extremely high. That's another thing I don't really want to see with the Broncos is making the ticket prices so high that a normal family of four can't really afford to go to many games, and that would be a bummer. So, yeah, I don't know, man. This whole stadium talk is to me is a little premature, but yeah, if you're interested, go take the survey. Hopefully they sent it out to you in email form, and just go take the survey and tell them what you think. But I like Clayton Huron coming in saying, "Got to keep it original." Yeah, if we're talking about a Broncos stadium, let's go back to the original, the Mile High Stadium type of feel. That stadium was so loud. It wasn't very comfortable. It didn't have all the amenities of, if you go to SoFi Stadium or something like that. But there's something about that old feel, the nostalgia, the Mile High Stadium, the winning that took place at Mile High Stadium. There's something wonderful about it. So if you're right, if there's something that needs to happen in Broncos country with a new stadium, it needs to have that Mile High feel. So, and Caden Corners coming in talking about the Allegiant Stadium there. He says, "Don't get me wrong, I hate the Raiders, but the new stadium is beautiful. My uncle had season tickets for the Raiders and let me and my dad go to the Broncos game." Well, Caden, I appreciate that comment. I bet it is. I really do want to go. I enjoy going to Vegas, so it's always fun. But I definitely want to go to a watch a Broncos game there in that stadiums at some point. It looks beautiful, but the tickets are definitely expensive, and from what I've seen. So, and if the Broncos and Raiders are both winning, it's going to even get more expensive. That's the thing. So we'll see. Hopefully someday I'll make it there, and I definitely want to go check out SoFi Stadium too. But again, if you're at home in Denver, it would be it would be kind of weird to have a dome. I've been to a lot of games and it's always been outside. So, but I think who knows? It might grow on me. We'll see. But anyway, so stadium talk, yeah, for sure. We also have the Broncos brought in a running back, finally another running back to fill out their roster there in that position group, and they brought in Tony Jones Jr. from the Saints, and not related to Tony Jones, the Broncos Tony Jones, who actually could have been voted the MVP of the Super Bowl for how he performed against Reggie White in that Green Bay Packers Super Bowl. But he's no relation, same name, coming in very limited experience really carrying the ball. He doesn't. He doesn't have many carries or many yards, but he's familiar with Sean Payton, and we had our own Luke Patterson was at the Shrine Bowl or the Senior Bowl one. I can't remember which. He said that he watched one of his favorite running backs on the day. Really impressed him. So who knows? Maybe we'll see some rekindling of Tony Jones greatness in Broncos country. But I remember the original Tony Jones, not relation, of course, but yeah, that he put on one of the best performances of a offensive tackle in the Super Bowl of all time, holding Reggie White to basically absolutely nothing. I mean, you barely heard his name called. So yeah, that was wonderful. So bringing back a little of that Tony Jones magic, but in a running back form, I'm okay with it. So that'll be a great thing to see if he actually turns into a stud running back for the Broncos and carries the ball quite often. So we got Michaela Israel in the house, the one and only. So thank you for coming in, Michaela. Saying she's talking about the stadium and whatnot, and saying that you have to travel. And yeah, so that's the other part is the location. Where are they going to put it? They're talking about maybe out by the hotel. And I don't know. If you live in Denver, that seems like a bit of a drive to have to go out to the stadium. But it is an event that people go to, and you definitely have to drive. I like going to staying in the hotel and walking. It's always the fun part for me is walking the stadium and feeling that, that spring air, the fall air. I mean, and taking me back to the olden days of fall football. So I enjoy that part of it, being able to walk. And if they move it out to the airport area, it's not going to happen. So that'll be a bit of a bummer. And Dan Hall's coming in from Facebook. Thank you for being here, Dan. Appreciate it. Says, morning, Thomas. Where the stands at Mile High Stadium sloped a little higher, I've heard it was louder than the current, and it would be great to be louder than Arrowhead. Yeah, I think the biggest thing about the stadium was I think it had alumina. I never watched a game. I was too young to go back in the day, and when I got old enough, I didn't go, and that's one of my, I guess, regrets, never actually going to the Mile High Stadium. I was always watching it on TV, but they had aluminum. It was like aluminum stairs and stands and stuff. So it was extremely loud because of that alone. You don't have everything echoes off of it and you're banging your feet on it. So it was just a completely different experience, louder, but much less comfortable. And obviously it needed to be updated, for a more modern football team, but it was definitely louder than this stadium. And, it was, I guess, interesting that, the fans were different. And, the fans now tend to sell their tickets to visitors. It's not back then. I don't think people would ever have really thought about doing that. But now, you sell your tickets and you get more visiting fans there. So I don't think you're ever going to rekindle the Mile High Stadium feel, but it would be nice to have some of that kind of weaved in. And yeah, it would be nice if it could be even louder. And I guess if you have a dome on there, it'll probably be extremely loud. So I did go to the Kingdome and watch the Broncos in 1998. It was, seeing several Hall of Famers playing in that game. And that was very loud. That Kingdome, man, with the dome was extremely loud and fun. And then, of course, they built a new stadium and tore down that Kingdome. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see just how loud it was. Yeah, and Jeremy's saying the same thing. The old stadium was louder because it was hollow metal and more rickety, aka better. Yeah, the feel of it's better, right? I mean, I guess maybe I need to kind of get with the new stuff a little bit more, and be embrace the comfort and the that these new stadiums bring to the fan experience. But to me, if you're going to a football game, you want to experience the tailgate, and then you want to experience a live game. There's nothing like it. And to me, that crowd yelling super loud, watching your team, it's just the experience is just unlike anything else, really. And to be to have all these amenities where you're off doing other things instead of watching the game just seems strange to me. But this is the new era, and maybe I need to embrace it a little bit more. So, and Clayton Huron's coming back in saying you can still upgrade it but keep most of it original. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I said earlier. I'm no architect, right? So I don't have any idea. I don't design stadiums, but if they could somehow get that old feel of Mile High Stadium in this, a new modern same and feel, that, yeah, retro, old but cool. Yes, exactly. Thank you for that, Scott. Appreciate that. Those are the words I'm looking for. Old but cool. Yes. Yeah. Somehow do it. Hire. They've got enough money to hire the best architects. They can come in and do something cool like that, and have that old Mile High Stadium feel, but still be nice and fun, and hopefully the Broncos can start winning, and the Broncos fans be in the stadium and not selling their tickets and being super loud. And that is what I'm waiting for, because last season people were leaving, before the games were even over. They were, the stand, you could get cheap tickets by the end of the year because the Broncos weren't going anywhere. And that's a shame. So the Broncos need to win, fill those stadiums with Broncos fans. That's what they need to do. I don't care if it's a new stadium or an old stadium. They need to keep Broncos fans in their seats and happy to be there. That's the thing. Broncos fans were there, were dedicated. Broncos fans, people in Broncos country, are dedicated to their team like, no other, but they weren't happy, and they haven't been happy. I haven't been happy watching the product out on the field for several years, even though I've been excited. So this year, let's turn the team around. Then we can start talking about, new stadium plans. Michaela Israel's coming back in with a good point. Some retro stuff is coming back, so maybe we'll get lucky. Yeah, I hope so. That's the thing about, architects, and they sometimes they get, I don't know, they go overboard and they make it too much. They put too much into it. They just, yeah, old but cool would be great. So, and we got Michael Ronquillo's in the house as well, man. Thank you for being here, Michael. Appreciate it. I'm always glad to see you here. One of the, Mount Rushmores of Mile Huddle. So thank you very much for coming in. We always appreciate your support, Michael. So yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on what what you would like to see in a new stadium. That'd be great. Thank you very much. Coming in with Facebook stars. Appreciate it. So, yeah, and man, sorry about that. I thought my mic went dead for a second, but it didn't. So good. I'm always worried because I do have it. But Michael, again, thank you so much for the generosity that you show to this show and every other show. It's an amazing thing to see how much support you give us, and we all appreciate it, even if we can't show it, how much in words, so to speak. But just know that we very much appreciate it, and we just appreciate you being here. And I always love your comments. You're always so positive and upbeat, and so we really appreciate it. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the support. Really appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, if there's not any other comments, like I don't know how much more I can talk and say about the stadium. It is like I said, go out there, and if you're a Broncos fan and you're a season ticket holder, or you go to the games, let them know what you want, because they seem to be interested in what the fan experience should be, which is great. I think it's great. I don't want them to get too into the fans, because there's definitely differences of opinion. But go take that survey and give yourself plenty of time. I think it's probably gonna take 30 minutes to go through it, and I was rushing through it because it's bedtime and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely go in there and let your voice be heard. And Mile High Huddle, thank you. A trusted source in the chat. Michael Ronquillo is a big part of our Mile High Huddle community. Yeah, he is. Like I said, if we could build a Mount Rushmore of Mile High Huddle community, he would be on there for sure. So, yeah, I think he has the record for the most Facebook stars. It's just amazing. And what's even more amazing to me, and I'm gonna just go away from the Broncos and talk about Michael just a little bit. He's at almost every show, like every show. It's amazing. People that there's always something going on, but he makes the time to be here, watching our shows and appreciating what we do, and that is what makes me want to do it more. Right? The fans that come in and listen, take the time to listen to me or listen to us, and being here often. It's amazing. So thank you so much. We can't say it enough, but thank you very much. So, and Clayton Huron, another great fan here, says, I think with Peyton in the house, it will bring more people in, and that's true. There is a lot of excitement, and I've said this before. I'm kind of I'm taking the wait and see approach a little bit, but it is hard not to be excited. You have you have Sean Payton coming in, who's a proven coach, and you have the ownership who's willing to do what it takes. And you saw in free agency, you don't win the Super Bowl in March, but they went out and got the players that they wanted. They paid for it and filled up those roster holes. So there's a lot of things to look forward to in this upcoming season. Love to see Sean Payton work his quarterback magic with Russell Wilson, and I think we're in for a decent season next year. I don't want to get my hopes up, like I said, but it can't be worse than what we saw last year. That is for sure. All right, Broncos fans, I I'm going to wrap the show up. It's been 30 minutes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for talking about the stadium. And, if you want to talk more about it, hit me up on Twitter at Thomas Hall NFL. You can follow me on Twitter. I love to banter back and forth, irrespectively with differing opinions. It doesn't matter, but let me know. You can follow Scott at Scout Kennedy on Twitter. He's always here in the background helping us out. So we definitely appreciate that. So yeah, thank you for the support and thank you for being here. Have a great weekend and happy birthday again. Happy birthday. Thank you for being here on your birthday. So appreciate it. And have a great day, Broncos fans.